have this stamp set here from Spellbinders. I've had it for a while and it's time to get creative with it. It's just stamps, no coordinating dies. So with these with just stamps alone, I'm not a fussy cutter, so these kind of intimidate me. But one thing that I like to do with only stamps is create a frame or a window for the stamp itself. I've done it before with another Spellbinders stamp set, and if it's not making sense right now, it will as this card build comes together. So this is our panel, and I have these arches here, and these are just inexpensive from Amazon. And let's see here. I know that I want to have a gnome, and I'm really thinking this one, but they're all cute, and it's got neat elements to this. So it's got the holly here, a heart, snowflake, little jingle bells, and this nice tree stamp that you could really use repetition on your card with. That would be super fun. So different ways that you could go about this, but I am going to use this guy here, the stamp, and I'm just going to lay him down and get him placed because I want to cut out a window here. And I also want to cut down my panel. So I'm just doing this for if I can speak, for visual purposes to see if I am, you know, sizing this correctly. So this is going to be the die that I'm going to use. Move this stuff aside. Let's bring in the paper trimmer and let's go ahead and trim down this panel. It's measuring at 4 1/4 right now. So let's go to, let's go down to 3 3/4 by, it's measuring at 5 1/2 right now. Let's go down to 5. So now that I know that this size is going to work, it's cut down to size, everything is great. What do I want to do? I need to, let me see here. I messed up my magnetic mat. If you can see that, it is warped. So let's see, and it's got a bubble in it. I'm going to see if I can, oh dang. I've got ink on me that I don't know where it's coming from. I don't want to get this on my panel. So I'm going to turn it to the back side and make sure that it is aligned, and I'll tape it down quite snug. Alrighty, so moving that back over to the side, and I apologize if my camera is shaking a little bit. We've moved and getting this area set up still. I do have a new desktop. It's a marble instead of just the white, so that is different. So we are coming along there, but with the camera and the lights, still working on it. Okay, so popping this out here. And this is why I kept the tape on the inner side, because when you run it through, even though it's a low-tack tape, sometimes it still wants to pull or snag the paper, and I didn't want to risk snagging this side. So that's why I kept the tape on the inside. And now I am just placing the panel on our card base here, and I love that margin and that cutout. We'll definitely use the sentiment or Merry Christmas, and I will stamp it down at the bottom. I'm thinking about using some embossing powder there. Okay, so, and honestly, we probably should have done this first because you need to let your stamp sit a little bit before you start coloring, just to let that ink dry, but no worries, everything will be okay. All right, so I'm just going to place my stamp down. Oh, you know what? I don't want it over like that. Nope. So what I'm going to do is I cut this down. This is smaller than my panel, so it will hide behind the panel itself. But I also want to make sure that I stamp this guy kind of in the center, so there's no open space. Okay, so that is a good position. All right, so aligning my cardstock here in the corner and then placing my magnet down, lining my stamp in the center there. And I'm just going to use my stamp tool to get this stamped out. And I'm going to be using Memento Tuxedo Black. You can get this on Amazon or at Hobby Lobby. It's just a fast drying ink. And it works well with alcohol markers. Okay, just pressing that down. And I'm going to double stamp this just to make those lines a little more vibrant. Just a personal preference. But I like the thick black lines. It reminds me of a kid's coloring book. So just making sure my panel is positioned in that corner. It is. Okay. Gently press down on my door. Perfect. How cute is this little gnome? And look at that impression. It's just flawless. Now, while our stamp is drying, I'm going to bring in my panel and let's go ahead and just work on the sentiment, aligning it in the corner. And I'm using the Merry Christmas. Like I said, I've used this stamp before. So what I want to do is visually align it the best that I can, making sure that the margins are even. Okay. And let me hold it up. It's kind of looking like the end of the last two letters, AS, were kind of crooked. Okay, I think that is going to be just fine. So I'm going to remagnetize that down, bring in my Versamark here, and get this all sticky. And this is a thick, bold font, but it's kind of a distressed font as well. So press that down. And it's hard to tell. I'm going to stamp it up one more time. There's some letters that need a little more glue there. Almost messed up. Realign my panel in the corner. Okay, I think that is going to work out perfect. Uh-oh, shoot, I just touched it. Did I smear anything? I don't think I did. Okay. So bringing in a patch paper here, and I'm going to be using black today. It's still super fine detail, and it's Ranger. I just picked this up from Hobby Lobby. Sprinkle that across, and I just let it set for a second, and then tap, tap, tap off the remaining. And I'm definitely going to have to pour some more on there. And oh, I forgot my anti-static. Maybe that's why it's kind of looking like a mess. I usually don't forget that. You know what? That is just not looking, it's not looking very clean. But let me just bring in a little paintbrush and see if I can clean it up. And if I can't, I will just clean this up and redo it, restamp it, and all of that jazz. You know what? There's a lot on there. I just think I should probably just redo it. And I'm probably going to have to cut all this back out too because it's just so staticky. And I can't turn it over and use the back side because it's stained. Okay, so what I'm going to do off camera is pour this back in its container, and I'm going to cut this back out and get to this point, and then we'll wrap this up. Do you ever have one of those days where you're trying to create and everything is just going wrong, like around you? It's one of those days today, but that's okay. I'm just going to stop and rewind, and I'll be right back. So I pulled some colors here. These markers are from a collection that I've had for a couple years. If they're still available from Amazon, I'll link them down below. So check the description box. And then 2 grays from my Ohuhu collection, which I've recently discovered that Michael's has Ohuhu. I'm going to zoom in real quick. They didn't look the same at Michael's, but it was the same brand. And I have the colors swatched to the side over here. I did pull some grays from this collection and it was just too dark. So I went to my Ohuhu. Okay, so first things first, what I'm thinking is starting with the lighter color, the grays, and coloring the beard. And obviously we're going very traditional with these true greens and a true Christmas red. And I think this is the lighter one. Yeah, I don't trust the caps. Because they are not accurate. So I am just going to outline the beard and then just fill it in. I might bring in the darker gray, or I might just build upon this color. We'll just wait and see once this dries. I am building up the gray up at the top right here, where the accents are in the beard. And I'll do the same at the bottom. Alrighty, and I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm thinking the hat and the boots red and the pants green. So let me come in with a fine tip here with the lighter color of the green. And I'm just going to fill in the white space in his pants. And he's got something along the back side there. I'm not quite sure. I think that's part of his pants as well. So I'll just color that green. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some music on and speed this up while I get some of this coloring done. Okay, how cute is that? These colors are perfect, and the dual tips on these were the perfect marker for these intricate little pieces. Whoops, let the camera find it. The intricate pieces of the end of the hat there and part of the beard. But how cute is that? Such a nice stamp. And as I was coloring, I noticed that he has a big old nose on there, and I need to get a nude color for his nose. And then I think that's a little bit of his skin popping through. With a honker like that, you would think that I would notice it right offhand, but I was mesmerized by his fluffy beard and that fun hat. I could not wait to color that hat. Okay, so I'm pulling another brand of markers. The Tri-Blend. These are 3 different tones in one marker. I'm going to use the light, and this is just the fair skin blend. And okay, and then I'm going to color in his nose. I love gnomes. They are so cute. I've always been really into the little houses with the miniature gnomes, or like, I guess that's not what I'm talking about. Like all the little garden toys that you can buy for your planted pots, or your potted plants, all the little gnome characters. Dollar General used to have them all the time, and I thought they were so neat. Okay, did I color in that top part? I don't think I did. If I did, we'll just go over it again. Okay, let's just build up that color on this left side there, just to give it some dimension, some fake dimension with a contrast of color there. Okay, now I restamped this because I started coloring it and I was using these gray markers and they were too dark. So I restamped this and just didn't put it in the video for time. And let's go ahead and build up the panel, I think. Just aligning it in the middle there. And grabbing some nonstick scissors. Once again from Hobby Lobby. They were on sale for $2. So they're originally like $19.99 for $2. And I think I got them for half off. So pay attention to those sales because I'm loving these scissors. Okay, so I shouldn't have put foam tape on this, but I can make it work. I did bring in some black ink here, and I also brought in some enamel dots from Concord and Ninth in black. I don't know if I want to go the splatter route or if I want to go very neat with these enamel dots. I think it would be really fun to have the splatter, but at the same time I have the Merry Christmas in black, and I'm wondering if that's going to be too much. But how fun would it be to have the splatter? Man, I don't know. Let me move this stuff aside and shake this up and open this up and kind of play with it, and let's just see how this works. Okay. And grabbed a paintbrush. Oh, that is very thick. I think I'm gonna like it, but first, let me bring in a card base that had more of that stain on it, and then I want to drape something over me as well. So it's going to be a little difficult for you to see, but I don't want to get black everywhere. I need to add some water to this. There we go. So it's not as thick. And I'm just going to place the paper over my paintbrush and then just tap my finger. And I've already got some speckles there. So that's what it looks like. I think it would be fun to have it on here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alrighty. So layering that on my brush. Oh, it looks like the Dalmatians. It's so cute. Okay, so knowing when to stop, this is what we've got. And I think that that is perfect. It doesn't have any down there, but let's see. Let's see what one little extra. Okay. I love it. So there it is. It's totally giving me 101 Dalmatian vibes. All right, and let me just put the lid back on that and clean this up because I don't want the black dots on our finished card. Okay, so let's bring in the pieces and get this card built. All right, bringing in my liquid glue, applying it right on that adhesive tape just to give me a little wiggle room when I place my gnome down, because I did this in not the best order. Okay. Just trying to align my panel. Okay, getting glue on my glass mat, but that's okay. All right, so now add a little more glue here, just to the back of this. And align it on my card base. Oh, such a nice margin there. And that liquid glue is just giving me a little extra wiggle room to position this, and it is just so perfect. So now that the splatters have dried, they are kind of like a dark gray or charcoal. But this is the card, the dimension, and how the stamp is in that window. And I'm now thinking about adding these enamel dots. It would be a nice variation of dimension and texture. I need to get a new poker tool. So what I'm thinking, I want to do some type of trio, but we'll see here. I want to do a trio, but definitely have the enamel dots interacting with both the window and the panel. Let me grab another small one. Or you know what? Let's go size up. Okay, and we'll place it right there. And then let's grab a small one. And then this one will be interacting with the panel. I placed two small ones down here at the bottom. And then I've got a small one, a medium, and then a small one right there. And I think I'm going to just call it. I did play with them quite a bit. Just because I was having a hard time. I didn't want it to be too fixed, too intentional. Because obviously the splatter. So I think not having a trio and a duo as I usually do and kind of breaking it up, I think that that is the best bet for the splatter and the enamel dots working together. And this is the final card. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I love the variation that we have going on here with the arched die, the window with the gnome, these bright, vibrant colors, and the embossing powder as well in black. I just really love how this turned out. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next card or craft. Bye, everyone.